If you're drinking coffee out of a Keurig machine, if you're brewing it in a Keurig machine, chances are extremely high that you're drinking watered down coffee. Now, before you have a go at me in the comments, give me a few minutes to explain. Now, to a lot of you, that's probably a pretty bold statement, insisting that you are drinking watered down coffee. So let me back it up, and I'm gonna do that in 4 steps. First step, we're gonna look at what sort of average amount of coffee grounds you can expect in the standard reusable K-Cups or standard K-Cups, including how many grams we can fit into a reusable one. Step 2, we're going to talk about what the golden ratio is of coffee to water. Step 3, we're going to go over what the standard brewing sizes are in a Keurig. And then step 4, and most importantly, I'm going to talk about how you can avoid making yourself some watered down coffee, some alternative methods, and some tips and tricks. Before we get right into the video, I would really appreciate it. This is a brand new channel, so I'd really appreciate it if you subscribe and hit the like button. So step 1 is measuring coffee. How much coffee is in a standard K-Cup? So I have 3 different K-Cups here to get a good sample size. I have an 8 o'clock hazelnut, and I'll put an image of it on the screen because you're a little far there. I have a Green Mountain coffee, the Vermont Country Blend Decaf. I'm also going to be weighing that. And a Barista Prima Italian Roast, which I'm not that big of a fan of. The 8 o'clock hazelnut is probably my favorite out of the 3. And to fill up my reusable K-Cup, I'm going to be using Cafe Verona from Starbucks. I just recently did a review of this as well, and it's not bad. It's not bad. So I'm going to be using just a standard kitchen scale. I'm going to be opening up the K-Cups and taking out every single ground that I can, putting it on a, you know what this is, a piece of paper towel on the scale, and let's get started. So there we are, they're all weighed now. We could see the decaf came in at 9 grams, and I wrote them on, it's not really the most clear marker, but the dark roast came in just a little bit heavier at 10 grams, and the 8 o'clock hazelnut coffee also came in at 9. The reusable K-Cup here, I was able to cram in 10 grams of coffee. You really have to be careful with these because you can't pack it too tight, because of course you have this nozzle here that also needs to fit down, and yeah, that's pretty much as full as it's going to get. So we're looking at 9, 10, 9, 10. So let's say on average we can fit 10 grams, or there's 10 grams in a standard K-Cup. So now we know how much coffee or how much ground coffee we can expect in a standard K-Cup. Now let's talk about, or go over to step 2 and talk about the coffee to water golden ratio. And according to many coffee pros and even the National Association of Coffee of America, something like that, I'll link down to it below, but some national association where there's a whole bunch of people that know what they're talking about, they talk about the golden ratio, and that golden ratio being 1 to 15. So that means 1 gram of coffee to 15 milliliters of water. This is for a bold coffee. There's also a ratio for a mild coffee, that being 1 to 17. But just for easy math, let's just say 1 to 15. So 1 gram of coffee to 15 milliliters of water. So 10 grams of coffee, 15 times 10, we're looking at 150 milliliters of water, which equals approximately 6 ounces. So step 3, we're talking about the different brewing sizes on a standard Keurig. So I'm going to be talking about this in terms of the Keurig K Classic, which I have here, and we have 3 standard brewing sizes. We have, oh, let me just get it in focus here, the 6, 8, and 10 ounce serving sizes. So we already know that the standard K-Cup comes with 10 grams of coffee, which is 150 milliliters, which is 6 ounces, which is our smallest setting on the Keurig machine. So what that tells us is anything that you brew over 6 ounces, it's going to start taking you well out of that golden range of 1 to 15 or even 1 to 17 in terms of grams to milliliters of water. It's going to start taking you way out of there and start giving you watered down coffee. So say you did want to max out, the K Classic, and you want to brew a 10-ounce drink. How much coffee do you need for that? Well, I have a chart down below on my website because I did an article getting a little bit more involved in this, and I don't want this video to turn out to be some big math equations. But essentially, if you refer to the chart through the link down below, to get a 10-ounce drink to be in that golden ratio according to the coffee pros, you need a 20 ounces of ground coffee. And how do you get 20 ounces of ground coffee in a K Classic? You just don't. You just don't. And that's one of the big drawbacks with the standard Keurig machines. They're great in terms of convenience to make a coffee real quick. But if you want to really start experimenting and you really want to drink coffee the way it's intended to drink, you need to either stick with the 6-ounce settings with the standard K-Cups, or you're going to be getting watered down coffee. That brings us to step 4, most importantly, how to fix it. Well, option number 1 is to just stick with the 6-ounce setting on the K Classic or whatever other Keurig machine. If you want a bigger drink, you can use 2 6-ounce drinks using 2 capsules. Yeah, the downfall for that is that it's more expensive, where you have to use two capsules or 2 reusable cups worth of coffee to get one big brew. But that way you're going to have really great tasting coffee and it's not going to be watered down. Option number 2 is to upgrade your Keurig machine to a Keurig 2.0. So of course this is more costly because you have to upgrade your machinery, but one advantage with a Keurig 2.0 is I have access to much bigger pods. For example, this one here. This is the Keurig K carafe, and this is my Keurig 2.0. Excuse the noise because I just turned it on, so it's heating up, so it's kind of like an angry monster just waking up from its slumber. Anyways, this exact model that I have here is the Keurig 2.0 K475, and it does fit in these much larger K-Cups. So you could either do this to brew a regular strength coffee, or you can use this K carafe big container here to brew. It says it brews up to 2 to 5 cups of coffee. Truthfully, I've never used this yet, so that's something I'm looking forward to doing in the future. But this is option number 2. Let me just show you a little bit of a video comparison, comparing the size of the K carafe and a regular size pod. So here you can see the differences of the regular size pod with that K carafe pod that works in the Keurig 2.0s. And there really is, this one is probably about at least twice as big as the regular one. So like I said before, you need 20 grams of coffee to make a true 10-ounce drink. You can fit 20. You could fit even, I think I fit as much as 25 grams of coffee in there. So that's going to give you a really great bold tasting coffee. And the third option you have is just to use a different brewing method. Here we have a Moka pot, which is a great brewing method. It takes a little bit longer. We have to use the stovetop, but it does brew some great coffee. And secondly, and sort of new to the scene, and I say new in the last 15 to 20 years, this actually was invented. This is the AeroPress machine. And I just recently did an unboxing video of this, as well as showing you how I used it for the very first time with my first brew. So I'll link those down below in the description, or I'll put a card up top somewhere as well if you're interested in checking that out. So that's my explanation of why more than likely you were drinking watered down coffee. Now, just one note before I sign off here. I did mention that the 6-ounce setting does fit best that golden ratio, but most people, myself included before I learned about this, I just picked, I just want a big cup of coffee. I just picked the 10-ounce setting, throw in the pod, hit the biggest setting because I want a big cup of coffee. Now I'm going to be changing things up. I'm going to be using more often the 6-ounce or some other brewing methods. So let me know by commenting below, did you learn something from this? Did you always kind of assume that you were drinking watered down coffee? Are you going to be exploring more and different brewing methods? Let me know. I'm Joe with Joe Picks Joe. Subscribe, like this video. I would really appreciate it. I'll see you in the next one.